Hey guys, welcome to Redneck Off the Range. Today I'm going to give you a few updates on our lake situation. Now, I've been meaning to do several of these over the last few weeks, but kind of dropped the ball there. So I'm just going to give you all the updates all at once, so this is going to be kind of a long video. So for anybody who is new to the channel or new to the story, earlier this year, back in January, we had a company put in an aeration system in our lake out at our farm. It's a 3-acre lake, and we had them put in this aeration system, and then we later ran electric down to the aeration system, and in July had the company come out and fire up the aeration system for us. So they fired it up, and they didn't really give us any instruction, and so basically, long story short, most of our fish ended up dying because of this aeration system and lack of understanding of how it works. Now, a lot of people said that we should have read the manual, should have done our research, blah blah blah. Well, the company never gave us a manual. They installed it, they fired it up. They didn't really give us the information that we needed, and in the end, all of our fish, or most of our fish, ended up dying. So they gave us some solutions. So they gave us muck biotics at cost, 3 months worth. We put those in, and it did its thing. And then they were going to give us fish. The original numbers were 30 pounds of minnows, 1,000 bluegill, 600 red ear sunfish, and 500 hybrid bluegill. So that was the original, solution to the problem. So anyway, we did our muck biotics, and then it came time to get the fish, and so we asked them about the fish, and then the story changed from, well, we're going to get fish for free to we're going to have to pay cost for them. So we weren't really satisfied with that. So we typed up a really long email, sent it to them, and then they came back with a counter offer, and they said that they will cover the cost of the fish. But the numbers actually changed a little bit. So over the weekend, this past weekend, we got our fish, the first round of fish, and so the numbers were, we did get 30 pounds of minnows and the 1,000 bluegill. Those numbers didn't change. And then we got 400 red ear, so we went from 600 to 400. That's fine. And we went from 500 hybrid bluegill to 200 hybrid bluegill, so pretty big jump there. But I mean, all these fish are free, and the red ear and the hybrids, I think, are both new species. I don't think we really ever had them, or if we did, they weren't in any big numbers, and so I really never remember catching either one of them. So we got that. So that's one update, and we were supposed to get 8 grass-eating carp because we lost 23. We didn't really think we needed 23 more, but we were supposed to get 8, and they forgot to bring them out, and that's fine. We don't really need them right now because it's fall, coming into winter. But so in the spring, I think they're going to bring us out the 8 grass-eating carp, and so that's fine. And then next fall, they're supposed to be bringing us either 75 or 100 each of largemouth bass, black crappie, and channel catfish. Now, I have had made another update earlier, or several updates earlier, about finding fish and catching fish in the lake. And so I started the process of removing all the large predators. So I removed so far 10 large black crappie between 10 and 12 inches long. I removed one 13-inch bass. I believe there still are a few largemouth bass in there, but definitely not as many as were in there before. I also took out 2 more smaller bass that I just cut up for catfish bait, but there's still a pretty good population of small, bass between 4 and 7 inches. That typically is what I've been catching. One of the exciting updates is I have caught several, half a dozen or so, large bluegill, large adult-sized bluegill, 8-9 inches. So We have been catching fish. The only thing I haven't caught so far is a catfish, and like I said in a previous update, there is at least one grass-eating carp still alive. So there are fish. We've been taking out the predators, and we're going to be getting more fish. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that I'm thinking about adding some new species to the lake. Now, definitely in the spring, I'm going to be investing in some different species. 100% definitely want to put in some albino catfish. I just think it'd be really cool to have like a majority of your regular brown, dark brown channel catfish. But every once in a while catch an albino catfish. I think that'd be really cool. I also want to add some golden shiners. I don't think we ever stocked golden shiners in any large numbers other than just what we didn't, other than like, what was left over for bait that we got for fishing. We just dumped those in, but we never really stocked them in any large numbers. So I do want to add, 10 pounds of golden shiners. And they can actually get pretty big. I didn't really know this until recently. They can get to be close to the size of a bluegill, like 10, 11 inches, if they live long enough. So I think that'd be really cool. Another good addition. And then another thing I'd really like to stock in the spring is some yellow perch. Yellow perch, they're just really pretty fish. And I've never caught one before, but they're really beautiful looking fish, and I hear they're really good eating. So maybe add 200-300 of those. And then they're just another prey fish. So the bass and the crappie and whatever will eat the perch. The new the young perch. So that's some species that I want to add, and two other species that I may or may not add. I haven't fully decided, I haven't fully committed to this yet, is I would really like to add some walleye, not a lot, but I think walleye would be a really cool addition. And this fishery also sells hybrid striped bass, and so maybe 50, 75 each of these. Well, probably, I don't know, maybe 75 walleye, 50 hybrid bass, something like that. Hybrid bass are sterile, so they won't reproduce, and then walleye are kind of like catfish in that they could reproduce, but usually they don't, and so chances are they probably won't, but if they do, it probably wouldn't be any large numbers. So but it would help control the crappie population, because I know the crappie, they tend to get out of control. It's always good to have, if you have crappie, it's always good to have other predator fish. And so other than that, I think the future of the lake sounds pretty good. So let me know what you think about all those species of fish. I definitely want to do the albino catfish. I think that would be really cool. And I think the yellow perch would be pretty cool too. I think those would be two really good additions to the lake. But the other two, the walleye and the hybrid striped bass, I think that would be a really cool addition to the lake too. Just different species. I'm not like just a one species type of fisherman. I like to catch all different types of species, and the more species that I could potentially have, the more of a surprise that it is when you catch a fish. You don't know what it is until you get it all the way in. So, you catch a fish, is it going to be a bass? Is it going to be a walleye? Is it going to be a crappie? Is it going to be a catfish, hybrid bass? Whatever. I just think it's really fun to go fishing in a spot where there's lots of different species and you don't really know what you're going to catch until you get it on land, basically. So anyway, those are the updates on the lake. Next year I will be, fishing for more predators. I think it's to the point of the year where they're not really going to be eating much, and so hopefully that gives our new prey fish that we just put in there a chance to survive and then reproduce next year, because I think most of them would be safe If there's a few largemouth bass in there, obviously a few of them will probably get eaten, but hopefully there's not too many of that in there. But in the springtime, probably before I get the next load of fish, I'll be out there fishing. I'll try to catch as many bass as I can and pull out as many of the, bass that are like, 8+ inches long, basically, and any crappie that are bigger than 10 inches. And then also just see if I can catch a catfish. I haven't found any catfish yet. I really hope there's some catfish in there. If there are, they're going to be pretty good size. So really hoping that I can catch a catfish. I'll probably take out a few rods and just line the levee up with some catfish rods and just see if I can catch anything. But I haven't caught anything yet, so I'll wait until the spring before I do that. But yeah, I think that's all the updates I have so far. Over the weekend, I'm planning on doing some trout fishing at the local wildlife preserve if it doesn't rain. So look forward to making that video, and hopefully it's not a huge fail because I've never trout fished before. But other than that, that's all the updates I have for you. So subscribe to my channel, and until next time, be safe.